I got another cancer diagnosis. I know, kind of a gloomy way to start a video, but stick with me, okay? Um, I'm gonna chat with you guys while I enjoy my last few minutes at the beach today. So, I have three main reasons that I'm doing this video. One is that we don't know what we don't know. And by me sharing this information, maybe it can help someone have more information so they can ask better questions of their healthcare providers or of themselves, or even notice things in themselves. The second reason is a resource that I came up with because I am going to go ahead with the recommended treatment, which is a combination of chemo, radiation, and immunotherapy. Please don't clutch your pearls as yet, because I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory so it'll all make sense. And I realize it's only two, but let's go. All right, so 4 years ago, it was just a long story of how I got to that place where I had surgery and had a cancer diagnosis. You can find that video on YouTube if you're so inclined, but some of you know the story. Since then, life's been full of miracles and hard as HE double hockey sticks. Okay, lots of stuff. So in short, both my parents transitioned. I also decided to be proactive about relationships, in that dating area of my life. And I knew that would bring up some self-growth challenges for me because, people are the best things to reflect ourselves back to us. But I think I may have underestimated those challenges some, because the emotional conflicts and roller coasters that have shown up, ooh, child, help me. I also think it was so challenging because of, I'm at that age and there are hormonal changes happening. And between that and the extended grief and trauma from losing my mom, yes, I did say both my parents transitioned, but going through the process with my mom, things like the nurse calling at 11 because my mom wanted to talk to me even though she couldn't talk because she had the breathing tube in. So, just me on the phone talking at her, getting the call at 2:30 in the morning that she coded, to, realizing that this is the thing, realizing that the person that was my single steadfast support in this life is not here anymore, right? So if you understand how the body holds trauma, you can have an automatic reaction like a panic attack. Then you'd understand. You'd have an idea what it's really been like for me. I am doing a whole lot better, a whole lot better, but it's not completely resolved yet. I'm still working through it with whatever help I can get, and I have been very proactive in seeking help for this. Anyhow, so for the past 2 years, I have been bleeding off and on outside of my menstrual cycle, right? So on top of the perfect storm of symptoms I've been having, including fatigue so extreme from the grief that my legs would burn when I walk up the stairs. And this only started right after my mom transitioned. It's been the perfect storm of stuff. Okay, so then in February, I had shingles. No, I'm not 50 yet. I had shingles. And I know exactly what led up to the shingles. And in hindsight, it was just like, wow, yes, perfect storm. Right? It was a fallout from some of the relationship work, right? And that is what tipped me into the heavy bleeding. So that's what was happening. I started having very heavy bleeding. The connections that I saw is a whole story in itself, between the spleen area pain and the issue that came up in the personal work I had to do in that. So that's a story I can detail at another time, right? But that came with some emergency room visits and then doctor visits after doctor visits, and me having to advocate for myself, and then finally being able to get an in-office biopsy all the way in May, which came back showing that there was cancer. So about 4 weeks ago, no, 5 weeks now, 5 weeks, I had surgery to remove my uterus, the remaining fallopian tube and ovary, cervix, sentinel lymph nodes, because I told my surgeon I wanted to keep as much of my lymphatic system as I could, and also to remove whatever implants, which are growths that were found in my pelvic cavity. There was one left behind because removing it would have been too dangerous because of where it was attached to and what it was attached to. So all of that, all of that led to a diagnosis of a stage 3, grade 3, poorly differentiated endometrial carcinoma. In short, it's an aggressive form of cancer, and it was already spread outside of my uterus. So during surgery, I also had hernia repair done because after the first surgery, where I basically lost all my muscles leading up to that, like I was literally skin and bone, it was just, the perfect thing to happen, to develop a hernia after, because I had no muscles. My muscles were so weak and wispy. Yeah. Thing is, I'm very appreciative of the advancements and studies that have been done, because now treatments can be more targeted to the specific type of cancer. They'll like genetic type they'll type the cancer, like look at the genes in the cancer. So I'm gonna go ahead with the recommended treatments of chemo, radiation, and immunotherapy, like combination. It's gonna be 6 rounds of chemo with immunotherapy followed by radiation, and then the immunotherapy continues for 2 years. So, I was really the one clutching my pearls, right? When the doctor said, hey, this is what we recommend. I didn't think I did. I had a reaction that was, I think I just knew I was going to go ahead, but the inner conflict I had around that, like it was a straight up identity conflict for me, because you guys know I'm really holistic about things. And I think right away, since I right away knew I was going to go ahead, the issue became just me feeling all the feelings and finding a way to get myself into alignment with that, right? Because, we're raised and we have beliefs and whatever knowledge we all have, and that's all we can act from and choose from. Right, so that's why I do things like this and share like this. I think it's a societal belief, right? I think that's what it was, that things have to be mutually exclusive, like they can't coexist. And one of the things I learned while learning about emotional literacy is that conflicting things can coexist, right? I can experience multiple emotions at the same time, and none of them are wrong or inappropriate, right? So realizing that things don't have to be mutually exclusive helped me accept the fact that, I'm going to do this treatment, and I can also incorporate the holistic side of me in that, right? They don't have to be exclusive. And I also realized that doing that helps me in the best way it helps. So in my book, I talk about the illness wellness continuum, and doing that, having very targeted conventional treatment along with practicing all the wellness things that I know, moves me in the direction that I want to move in, right? It's not I'm sick or I'm well, but the illness wellness continuum, it's either like we're moving in one direction or the other constantly. That is how we live. And me doing both of those things together moves me in the direction that I want to move in. Which brings me to the other things I want to share. Okay. because I'm going to go ahead and do the chemo, etc., I created a resource with the help of AI that I will be using. It actually contains things that I've already used in the past, things that I'm going to start using to help my body, my well-being, etc., through the treatment. I realized the fact that I know these things and practice these things in myself, it does help in terms of my well-being, and I said that already. There's so many things to consider when going into something like chemotherapy, particularly other diagnoses. Because I realize every time I go to a doctor's appointment, it's the whole long questionnaire with every single doctor, the oncologist, the radiation doctor, I'm going to get a port put in, and every single time it's the same questions. Do you have this diagnosis? Do you have that symptom? Do you have this, that? And for me, I don't have any of those other, I don't have anything else. All right. I'm not on any long-term medications. And I have overcome some big health challenges in my life, like anxiety, depression, panic attacks. I used to get atrial fibrillation, but I don't have any of those things, right? So having no other diagnoses and medication, etc., that I'm on, to me is a huge plus, right? It's a huge plus. And please don't take this as a fault if you do have something or you are on extended medication. None of that is a fault. I'm just, explaining from where I'm coming from, that to me, it shows me the benefit of things I've done. Like, I didn't just wake up here one day without a diagnosis or medication. Because like I said, I had some pretty big issues in my life prior. And several cardiologists were like, we want to put you on this thing. And I'm like, no, because you still don't know what's wrong with me. We're going to figure this out. I didn't just wake up in this place. It's been a journey. It's been my life's learning. And so I'm allowing myself to step more boldly into what I believe is my purpose, right? Which is living what I teach and teaching what I live. So that includes any coaching or PSYCH-K sessions, which I am still available for. That includes my book Shift, which is on Amazon, Kindle and printed. And I have some other things coming to support the book and you and me, starting with a community space that will be, to say, our own community space, right? And an app to accompany my book. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I'll be available in there. It'll be a safe space to bring your wellness questions and concerns. It's going to be called, so far, the Shift Wellbeing Circle. I think that fits well. The Shift Wellbeing Circle will be open to everyone as I'm figuring out the platform we're going to use. It is my intention to maintain some sort of free community at some level, because I believe everyone should have access to things that aid our well-being, right? Like, I do still offer pay what you wish PSYCH-K sessions, because access, especially for those who could benefit from it, right? There will eventually be some things with only exclusive access. I'll figure that out later and share more about that. But it is available now. I will share a link to it. And I share it now because while I won't ever wish anyone to walk this path, and I said that in the first video I did 4 years ago after the first diagnosis, I wouldn't wish anyone to walk this path. I personally have gratitude for this cancer diagnosis because it helped me recognize things and learn things and face things about myself. And that has made this path perfect for me. Okay. And I will help you on your path if you allow me the honor.